let's turn to John chapter 14 and look at this. It says, "Very truly, I tell you, the one who believes in me will also do the works that I do. And in fact, will do greater works than these, because I am going to the Father. I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son." Show me a single man on this planet that can do greater works than what Jesus did.
Young Don has misunderstood what Jesus is saying. Greater in what sense?
Boy, so he misunderstood. That's what it was. It was just so. All right, so there's this popular YouTuber. There's a Christian YouTuber named Young Don. He just recently deconstructed and deconverted out of Christianity. He was actually on the MythVision podcast yesterday talking to Derek about it, and he's already got these Christian YouTubers trying to debunk his deconversion. So yeah, we're going to get into it. I am Brentley, and this is the Punk Apostate. Let's go. So I'm not sure who this dude is. It doesn't matter. It was, some British kid. I don't know if he's a kid. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I'm going to be honest. I'm getting thrown all off on the age thing right here. He looks too young to be old, but he seems too old to be young. I don't know. I'm confused. Honestly, there's something going on here. But his name is. The video is called "Debunking Young Don's Reasons for Leaving Christianity." So let's see what he's got.
What? He left Christianity? A popular YouTuber, Young Don, recently left Christianity, and he gives 4 main reasons. And in this video, I'm going to debunk all of them. This video will help.
Is that a question? I'm going to debunk all of them. Maybe. I don't know. I guess it's up to you if I debunk them or not.
Equip you to know how to respond to this if you hear these objections in the future. So are you ready?
Oh, so you're not just tearing down. This is for practical purposes, so that people can keep this sort of terrible, awful, horrific situation from happening to others that are trying to leave the human sacrifice, blood magic, death cult. But yeah,
here we go. Number 1. Greater works will we do.
So let's turn to John chapter 14 and look at this. It says, "Very truly, I tell you, the one who believes in me will also do the works that I do. And in fact, will do greater works than these, because I am going to the Father. I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son." Show me a single man on this planet that can do greater works than what Jesus did.
Young Don has misunderstood what Jesus is saying.
Of course, yes. And it's so funny too. And this is exactly the type of thing that I would have said. I'm an apostate. I was fundamentalist. I would have heard him say that exact thing. Whoa, hey, wait. No, let's read this, okay? Now, what could Jesus be talking about that's not what you're saying, okay? And the list of what that could be is infinite. It's infinite. We can make up stuff, and there's no limitations to what we can make up. So, but this is exactly what I would have done. So it's just kind of funny to me.
Greater in what sense? Greater in power or greater in extent? You see, Jesus has done the greatest works than anyone could ever do. He made atonement for our sin. He died. He gave up his life. He rose from the dead. He has the power to give life and take it away. We don't have that power. So clearly he's not meaning greater in...
clearly. No, not clear. Just stop. Clearly nothing. Nothing is clearly when it comes to the Bible, dude. Like, y'all interpret it to goddamn death. There is no this is obviously what it sounds. No, stop. Just stop. It's clear to you because that's your interpretation that you are pulling out of it. But okay.
That we as Christians can do an individual act that's greater than his acts. His act of atonement, his amazing miracles. But what he's talking about is greater in extent. That Jesus' ministry was largely confined to Israel. But after his ascension, his followers would then take the gospel.
Geographically, is greater geographically, like as far as like the area. Yeah, that's what it is.
To the ends of the earth. So the influence Jesus was able to have on the people around him was very great. But he was one man living in that area. But with the million,
What do you mean 1 minute? He was God, dude. All right, like he should have been able to do, I don't know, worship or get everybody on planet Earth on board, man. He was God.
upon millions of Christians that there are, Christians collectively can then do greater works in extent, in that we go to the world with the gospel message.
It's so crazy. This was not my interpretation when I was growing up, and we got to this verse. I remember this, and as far as I went to Calvary Chapel, but again, Calvary Chapel sort of didn't really have. It sort of just depended upon which pastor you were talking to, because a lot of them had different interpretations, even within, because it was like a non-denominational, and you sort of just had to stick with the central tenets of Christianity, but you could disagree on just about everything else. And the way that most of the pastors that I was brought up with interpreted this, they were saying like you would do greater miracles, like you would tell prophecy and stuff like harder, like you would be able to see the future harder than Jesus did, and you would be able to heal more people more often and stuff like that. Like that was what they were taking. I don't know if they were talking about coming back to life. I don't think that was what I think we were talking about, like healing people and stuff like that. But that was the interpretation that I got. I didn't get anything like this where they're like, oh no, he meant greater, but like, because the rest of the world would get that was not anywhere in the doctrine that I grew up with. So it's just kind of funny how different doctrines work this way.
Think about the day of Pentecost. Peter preaching the gospel on that day, 3,000 souls were saved, which is actually a larger amount than we see during any time of Jesus' ministry. Because the miracle of spiritual rebirth is what people...
The story, the day of Pentecost, is so funny because it's like, like it was like all the people are going on like, these people are drunk. That was what they were accused of being. And if you hear people speak in tongues and stuff, that's what it sounds like. It sounds worse, actually. Now you sound like you're just like escaped from a mental institution, then got drunk. That's what it sounds like.
Really need the most of, more so than even a physical healing. Jesus doesn't promise us that we can all heal and do miracles. We even see the
I mean, but there's other verses in the Bible that do say that. Like in the end, your sons will prophesy, your daughters will had dreams, yada yada, like all that type of stuff is in the Bible elsewhere. And so that's what I think the doctrine that I was familiar with was pulling from.
Apostle Paul telling Timothy to take a bit of wine for the sake of his stomach, or even one of Paul's own companions he had to leave behind in Miletus because he was ill. Erastus remained at Corinth, and I left Trophimus, who was ill, at Miletus. Paul had to leave one of his own fellow companions behind because he was ill. We're not promised an easy life here.
I don't understand. What was the point of that? Well, because he didn't just heal him? Is that what it was? It's like, so clearly he wasn't saying that you'd be able to heal, because he would have healed his friend that he wanted to go with him. But he didn't. Maybe he didn't want him to go. Maybe he was like, oh no, I can't heal you. Man, that guy is really annoying. I'm just gonna tell him that I can't heal him. Yeah. What's it say? Yeah, it's just not what the Lord wants right now. Let's just do that, because I'm not taking that guy with me. That guy is so annoying. He just keeps on going. He gets stuck on numbers. He tries to tell you a story, and he's like, was it 35 or 40? No, wait, it was 40. Wait, what's 20 plus 20? Yeah, it's really annoying. I can't put up with that the entire trip. Okay, we got to just leave this guy here. Okay.
Promised health, wealth, and prosperity. That's a prosperity gospel that's opposite to the message of the Bible. We are promised eternal life. We're promised that there will be no sickness there, but not necessarily here. This leads to the second reason. Number 2.
They really don't like the prosperity stuff, and I don't blame them. That's some nonsense that is very unhelpful and kind of makes it feel. It basically is this gospel that basically says that if you're having hard times, you deserve it, which is disgusting.
If you ask anything, it'll be done for you.
If in my name you ask me for anything, I will do it. That's another thing I talk about, unanswered prayers. But people will say, oh, well, God doesn't always answer prayer. He says anything. So now anything don't mean anything.
So young Don is...
Yeah, that is what that verse says. And it took me a long time to be able to come. I was like, it doesn't say that. Come on now. That's ridiculous. It says, that God will answer prayers, but it might be maybe, and it might be no, except that he doesn't say either of those words. So you don't know. You just kind of waiting, and the nothing is either you got to wait or no, but you never figure out which, because there's no answer. That was the type of stuff. But I didn't realize it said anything until I heard some folks talking about it that were after my deconstruction. I went back. I was like, it could not say that. It does say that.
Is taking this as an absolute statement without incorporating what the rest of the Bible speaks about this subject. Just like when we read it,
without incorporating your doctrine. That's what it is. Without incorporating everything that else that I've decided is actually what the Bible's trying to say, according to my interpretation of my doctrine, of my denomination, of my religion, Christianity. I know it better.
any text. We can't take the text out of context. We have to read it in light
Of course, yeah, it's always out of context.
what the rest of the document says. Now, what does the rest of the Bible say about prayer? Does it speak about God being our genie who gives us 3 wishes and anything we want, he'll give us? No. Instead, we see that our prayers need to align with God's will. In 1 John 5:14, it says, and this is
And what the fuck's the point? Well, this is the dumbest. What a stupid reading on that. Like, then what's the point of praying at all, man? Like, why say, like, okay, I'd really appreciate it if this stuff happens, but you know, if that's not what you want, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I don't even know. I'm just kind of telling you what I want, even though I need to want whatever you will. I'm not really sure how that even works. So there's really no point in praying, according to this guy. Jesus Christ.
The confidence we have toward him, that if we ask anything, key word here, key phrase, according to his will, he hears us. So our prayers need to.
You got to go somewhere else. Is that way? Okay, and this is the confidence that we have toward him, that if we ask anything within his will. Okay, because. And of course, again, that just makes no sense. Like you're basically saying, can you just give me, I really would like whatever you want to happen. I guess I'm done. I don't know what the point of praying is.
Align with God's will. And then we will get answered prayer. And so, yes, we can pray for things. We can pray for healings for ourselves or for other people. And it's up to God whether he grants that or not. But if God chooses to,
or not, because, you know, it never happens,
to say no to our prayer request, we shouldn't get angry with him. We shouldn't get mad and pretend as if he's not there. Who do we think we
pretend as if he's not there? It seems like you're pretending that he is there. That's sort of the problem there. You got it backwards.
No. Why do we think that we should have a healthy life and never get sick? In fact, if you chat to mature Christians and you ask them when they grew most in their...
That's what a weird question. Why should we think that we should never get sick? Why should we think that we don't have to suffer? Like, it's just such a weird thing to say, because like, why? So he put us here just to get sick and suffer and stuff. And you can't like not want that to happen. You gotta be like, look, hey, suffering is just a part. I mean, usually what I hear is like, it's sin. You know, it's because she, you know, the lady that was convinced by that talking snake bit an apple, and now people get sick. Sorry, okay, she shouldn't. You know, that bit. No, she shouldn't have done it. It's her fault, right? And the talking snake too. But he doesn't. He's whatever.
Faith. They'll often say during the hard times, not during the easy times. God even allowed the Apostle Paul to have a thorn in the flesh, and Paul prayed 3 times that the thorn be taken.
3 whole times he prayed, and he's like, all right, he's not doing enough. I've prayed 2 times prior to this 3rd time praying, it's still nothing. I guess it's a no.
In a way, 3 times I pleaded with the Lord about this, that it should leave me. But he said to me, look at God's response here. My grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I'll boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so the power of Christ may rest upon me.
Another verse that I feel like is just sort of getting ahead of all the not being healed that's happening. Or, you know what I mean? Like all the stuff that never happens that people pray for. Like, well, that must be because, you know, he works in your weakness. Okay. Until, you know, they die of cancer. And they're like, yeah, just, you know. They were trying to learn a lesson. They learned the lesson that is sometimes you die of cancer. I don't know what the lesson is, actually. There's not really a good, I mean, since he didn't get better or anything, and the suffering really didn't add to anything in his life or anything like that. There wasn't really any lesson to learn. I don't know. I guess it's just like, it's just God, I guess. You just, you know, somebody else that, you know what it was? It was a lesson for somebody else. That dude had to die of cancer. So to teach his best friend a lesson or something. Like,
you see, God grows us during the difficult times. He allows the difficult times, even causes them, calamities to happen to us so that we might depend on him.
It's so gross, dude. One of the things that I always think about with this is whenever they talk about that, like sometimes God allows a bad stuff. Like there were people that were born into nothing but slavery, lived their entire lives as a slave, and died a slave. And God allowed that. Like, what the hell? What was the purpose of that? There was some kind of like lesson to be learned while living your entire life as a slave until you died as a slave. Just nothing but feeling pain and suffering your entire life. Come on, man. Jesus.
And not on ourselves. And so if
Let's see how are we doing today. Everybody feeling all right? It's Thursday. We're making it through. We're gonna make it one of these days. Who won today? Lori, how you doing, Lori? How's it going? Is anyone home? No, now I am. I think you're a little bit early, but that's okay. You know, you won, so that's all right. Let's see, Steven, what's up, dude? Steven's second. Okay. Hey, what's up? What's up with you? I'm doing good. I'm feeling all right. Yeah, it's a nice day out. Top tester was third. What's up, dude? No, I'm out to the store. Oh no, it's so top tester was answering. That's who Lori was asking about. No, stop tester. I'm glad that got answered. Wolfos is here. What's up, dude? Oh, and I want to make it real clear real quick. I randomly made several people mods so that we had like people that are like usually here. And so just, you know, if you got that little wrench by your name, if you don't want it, it's okay. Let me know. I'll take it back. But I thought that I could just throw that on some of the regulars so y'all had moderation power. Yeah. Anyway, all right, and Blood Badger's here. What's up? Kari's here. Hey. Morning, everyone. Good morning. Did I say Blood Badger already? I feel like I did. All the animals are here. The wolf, the Blood Badger. Kari's not an animal, but you know, she's just hanging out with a couple of animals, I guess. Just, you know, a couple of cartoon, you know, BoJack Horseman cartoon animals. That's how I picture anybody with an animal name.
if you're getting mad when God's not giving you what you're
What's up, dude? Logan's here too.
requesting of him, you have a too high view of yourself. We do not make demands of God. We make humble requests. And God, who's king of the universe, can grant them if he wills. Don't pretend you're the king of the universe.
Oh, so you're selfish. So it tells you to ask for anything and he'll answer it, but you're selfish if you ask for anything and actually expect to get it. It's like the mind fucks that this religion puts on people is just infuriating, dude. Like, wow. Like he's basically just rendered all prayer completely useless right here, and which it is, you know, it is, because if God has some kind of ultimate plan, you can't alter that plan by, you know, praying for stuff, right? So what the fuck is the point? I always wondered that. And then people would always end the prayer, but this is what I want, but your will be done. Like they can trick God or something into it. But, you know, it's, I just want whatever you want. But can you do the stuff that I do want? Can you make that what you want? Make my stuff what I want. Can you make what you want? Let's do that. Yeah. But whatever you want, buddy. It's like, it feels like you're gaslighting God. I don't know. It feels weird.
Suffering also can help us long for heaven. If we didn't really have anything bad happen to us here, we might get too comfortable, too focused on this world, when suffering actually makes us long for the next. We long to be with Jesus.
It depends, you know, because apes are kind of a taxidermical. But how do you say that? He doesn't know. Yeah, no, taxidermic. I can't say it. I don't know what it is. But that's sort of like a category that we do technically fall in. We got eyes on the front of our head there. I know, flat face, you know, opposable thumb. We got all the stuffs. So yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. It's kind of, the line's blurry there, right? So I don't know. If you used the word like the name chimpanzee or something like that, be a little bit more specific, then I'd say, yeah, then you'd be a cartoon chimpanzee from BoJack Horseman, and that's how I'd picture you, because that's how I have to do it. You know, it's just I can't help it. That's how my mind works. I'm just trying to be honest. Okay.
Jesus, where he's going to wipe away every tear from our eyes, and we get a new body that will be imperishable. And friends, it won't be long before we're there.
Imperishable. Okay. It's what an odd word. Like, go with invincible, dude. Okay, make it cool sounding. You know, there might be kids watching. You know, don't you want an invincible body? Yeah. Imperishable though, come on. What if somebody described Wolverine as imperishable? They'd be, come on, man. Can you get a better word for that? Can we do? Yeah, that's just not very appealing at all. That's kind of like, who wants the mutant power of imperishability? Come on, get the hell out of here.
This life speeds on by. And so even if we have to go through very light and momentary affliction, Paul says that is nothing in comparison to the eternal weight of glory that is to come. Even Paul says we rejoice in our suffering.
So I just, right. Rejoice in your suffering. Be happy in it. Of course it says that. I swear, verses like this, it just makes me feel like this was written by lords trying to convince the serfs to just shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Quit asking for food and stay. Suffering's good. Okay. Have you read your Bible lately? Be a better Christian. Suffer the way that I want you to suffer and shut up about it. That's basically what it is. Like, I swear so much of the Bible and Christianity in general is just like getting people that are suffering and poor to be cool with it and not do anything about it. Like, hey, you get to go to heaven afterwards. So, if you put up with this shit, you get to go to the magical amusement park in the sky. So don't say anything about your suffering. And if you could all just not rise up and, have a revolution, that'd be great. Don't do that. No revolutions. Revolutions are bad. God doesn't want that. That's what he doesn't want.
Knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope. So God has good purpose in our suffering. So never get mad when you have to go through it.
Never get mad. Don't do that. That's something you can control. The feelings that you have about a bad situation. don't do it. Feel bad. And you're like, I am angry because I don't even know what it was. I got cancer, but don't get mad. Don't get mad. Just, count it all joy. Like, yeah, this is great. This is my favorite cancer. I'm so glad that I got this shit. What the fuck are you doing? That's insane, man. Wow, he kind of looks insane here. What is this? Like, imagine that. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night with that face just right there, man. You'd be like, oh my God. Be like, that's worse than those twins from The Shining. My God, what the fuck? He just needs to white out his eyes and he'd be like a vampire, man. I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to make fun of appearances. I've been talked to about that. I'm sorry. That was the last time. I swear. That's the last one. Okay. I'm sorry.
May it draw you closer to him, not further away from him. Even the suffering you go through is nothing like what you deserve. We deserve hell. And the fact that we didn't wake up in hell today, God's being extremely kind to us.
Oh, wow. That's insane. That's an insane thing. So the fact that you didn't wake up on fire in a torture dimension that God created just to torture people, that's mercy, man. You need to thank him. Thank him for not torturing you. What the fuck is happening? Like, what kind of serial killer God are we talking about here? What is going on? This is insane. Jesus. Ryan, what's up, man? Ryan said, this motherfucker, he said, this motherfucker I cannot stand. I watched a short where he was showing children a picture of hell and Jesus saving them from it. He turned the comments off. The piece of dog shit. God damn, really? He was showing kids hell. That's one of the most disgusting parts of religion, just full stop. That kind of indoctrination where you are terrorizing kids that with your loving God that created the torture dimension just for them. Apparently, but they'll say, oh no, he didn't create the torture dimension for people. Okay, they go there by accident. It was an accident. Now he made them for Satan. Of course, Satan isn't, Satan and his angels. Well, they're not there. They're here on earth. I don't know if God accidentally put the demons in the wrong dimension. They're like, oh shit, wait, I created the torture dimension just for the demon. Oh, they're on earth. Shit, well, it's too late now. I can't do anything about it now. I guess I got to send humans to the torture dimension that I didn't create them to go to. Nothing makes sense. What the fuck? Nothing ever seems to go according to what the perfect God, this perfect God's will is. He's just always messing up. He's always making mistakes, it seems. But yeah, that's crazy. I hate that shit. But Eve, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, peace. Scott, how we doing, man? So people like this don't value their personal suffering. They just want to justify the suffering of others. So gross. 100%. Yeah, because that is, and you're right, that's always how it ends up being. Because when they talk about suffering, it's like some mild shit, man. Like, you know what I mean? It's some nothing. They're not thinking about the kids drinking from the muddy puddle on the other side of the planet, right? That's not what they're thinking about. They're like, oh man, I got stuck in traffic and then I was late to work and my boss got all mad at me and it wasn't even my fault, And he kept just saying, well, you should have left earlier. And I was like, I would have had I known that I would have gotten stuck in traffic. I'm going to count this all joy. Okay. I'm just, I am suffering right now. But it's not. It's like hardly anything. What's up, skeptically pissed? How we doing, man? Let's see, Wolfo said, too focused on the only life we for sure know we get. Why to pretend we know what happens when we die? No thanks. I substitute your reality with my own, and now we all go to hell together. Yeah, well, I mean, and I know that's the real sad thing, though. It's like that's the real damage that it does, is it gets people to not focus on here and now. They're just worried about the future, which there is no future in that regard. You're not going to wake up in heaven after stuff happens. It's just, oh, whoops, wasted my whole life. And these people, I allowed these people to manipulate me my entire existence because I said, well, at least you get to go to the magical amusement park in the sky when you die, and so I let them, whatever. It's just fucking frustrating. Learning to pray to is about disciplining your desires. Asking for anything God isn't already doing for you is wrong. So you are never tempted to ask God to roll a 7 on one 6-sided dice. Yeah, that was just like, what the hell's the point? I mean, I guess they're just basically just saying, like, only pray to thank God. That's it. Just be like, awesome, God, you're great. Thanks for not torturing me in the torture dimension today. Like, that's what they think praying is for. But like, but then you have the verse where it was like what was it? They were like asking the woman that was asking the king or something like that. I never understood that verse. They're like, the king was just like, no, I will not do it. And then the lady's like, second time, asked the same thing. No, I will not do it. Third time, the lady asked the same thing. You know what? Okay, 2 times, absolutely not. But 3, you must really want this. Okay, so thanks for asking multiple times. You got it. You got it, lady. Like, that's what a fucking weird verse. But that's the type of stuff they have. They're like, just keep on asking. And I think it's, again, just to get people to grind their wheels. Just like, well, I guess I haven't asked enough. Remember, that lady asked 3 times before she got the stuff from the king. So I got to just keep on praying forever. That's what that is. And then they do. And then they die. And that's it. Right? Yeah, dude, they're creepy. Well, not this dude. He's got beautiful eyes, actually. But the other guy, yeah, absolutely. He looks like there was this character in Courage the Cowardly Dog. There was like this creepy old, like this creepy guy with like blonde hair or something, or like white hair. And he was like, ooh, he was like this British guy. He had like real skinny legs. He looks just like him. It's weird. It's uncanny valley for that, dude. Seriously. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. He said, be a good slave, please. Stop complaining, advocating for your rights. Go to work. You're being lazy. All the people that advocate for their rights are lazy. I don't know what's going on here. Giselle, how we doing? Hey. And see, what a monstrous and inhuman ideology. 100%. I could not agree more. Ryan said, I would love every single Muslim, Christian, and Jew to fuck off to the Middle East. It is the Holy Land after all. Well, just some, we could do the rapture thing, right? And they can all just blink. They all want it, right? I don't know. Do Muslims get raptured? I don't have as much a problem, honestly, with here in America, anyway, with Muslim. But the Christians wrecking the entire government right now. But yeah, got a problem with that. It's anyway, you're not going to get into that. We're not talking about that. God damn it. It's, I'll get to that later.
I've read the New Testament multiple times. I've seen verses like this all the time. And I always just chalk it up to, oh, maybe my faith isn't strong enough. That's why my prayers don't work. Are anyone's prayers strong enough?
Making a request to God for someone to be healed is not based on the strength of your faith. It's all dependent upon God's will. Now, when we pray, we should not
I thought God, see, and this right here is in contradiction to like what Jesus' actual words were, where he says, your faith is what has healed you. Is it like you have to have the faith? That was like multiple times Jesus healed people and then told them, I didn't heal you. You were healed by your faith. The fact that you had faith in me is what healed you. Like, so now he's just switching it. Oh no, it's just Jesus didn't say I healed you because my will was to heal you. That's why you got healed. So just so you know, your faith had nothing to do with it. I healed you because that was what my will was. So anyway, no, man, like this is what I'm saying, man. Like, have to go against their own beliefs at some point just to try to like justify this shit, and it It never makes sense.
Doubt that God has the ability to do what we're asking. But we aren't called to have faith in something God hasn't.
Thank you. I'm so glad. I only watched it a little bit, but that's really funny that you knew exactly who I was talking about. Because he reminds me of the Mad Hatter too. I don't know. That was the other direction I could have gone. Because he definitely, just need to stick some straw in, or not straw. We need to put one of those hats. That was a scarecrow. I was like, oh, he could do scarecrow too. He's crossed between Mad Hatter and Scarecrow. He's the Mad Scarecrow, I guess. Because you could go either direction on that one. But yeah, no, he looks like the Mad Hatter. He just needs that purple hat thing with the little card, the sharp cards that he throws, kind of like Gambit, but the DC version.
Promised. God hasn't promised that he's always going to heal every person we pray for. So when someone says, oh, you don't have...
Literally did. It says anything you ask for, man. Like you're having to go you have to go all the way around to like, you're making all prayer meaningless in order to make this apologetic make sense, dude. It's really sad.
Enough faith because you didn't believe that God would do it. Well, God never promised that he would do that to everyone.
He literally did. And he read the verse and you're just reinterpreting it to mean something else.
But don't doubt that God has the ability to do it. Believe that if it's God's will, he can absolutely do even seemingly impossible things.
Then why do you got to ask if it's already his will?
But don't have trust that God will do something that he hasn't promised to do. And so when God doesn't heal someone, doesn't heal yourself after you pray, it's not because of your lack of faith. It's just that it wasn't in accordance with God's will.
Completely against what the Bible says. It's crazy. How does he take out the multiple times that Jesus says your faith has healed you and make this whole point here? It's insane. I remember when I was... I was kind of in the ringer at the time. I was kind of, I call it in the ringer. Going around the mountain is what they used to call it, where I was like deep in addiction, but I was super Christian too. So I was like, had this like bouncing back and forth from the streets and homeless shelters and all that type of stuff to going back to church and trying to get better and doing all that type of stuff. And then ended up back in the streets and doing this whole back and forth thing that was just like whiplash over and over again. And I remember one of the things that I had like my jaw would like hurt really bad. And I remember I would take, medications for pain and stuff just so I could make the TMJ. It was TMJ. And it was so painful. And I remember like it lasted so long and I kept praying. And eventually I had some dude at church, put that fucking oil on my head, right? And prayed over me and everything. And I remember it like went away and I was like, oh my gosh, I was healed. And then I was like, man, that must have been what it was, that's what did it. And then you look up like what the cures TMJ time. It just gets better with time. So eventually it was just like a timing thing. But in my mind at that time, I was like, oh, they did it. They healed me. No, TMJ just goes away on its own, like a lot of the time. And that's exactly what happened.
That point. Now, God may be wanting you to pray more and continually, because if you pray for somebody once and they get healed, you'll praise God for it. But let's say you prayed for somebody for 10 years and then eventually God healed them in that 10th year. You'll be praising God even more after 10 years of prayer compared to just one time praying.
You really want to earn it, you really want to, he doesn't want to just hand you the healing, you know what I mean? You want to feel like you earned it. Like you thought the thoughts for 10 whole fucking years. Jesus Christ. That was stupid. And it's like, you see how that just opens them up to like the TMJ type of situation, right? If anything else causes them to be healed, whether it be medication, doctors, surgeries, whatever it might be, God's still getting the damn credit, right? Because that's, I've been praying for 10 years. And then he went in for surgery, took a bunch of medications, and, and then he was healed. God did it. Thank God. Okay. But if the doctor messed up and got a malpractice, fuck doctors. Doctors are garbage. Okay. Out here just messing people up sometimes, 1 out of 30 times or something like that, they get messed up. But yeah, so fuck the doctor. But like God gets the credit, doctors get the blame. So, poor doctors. Holy shit. What a thankless job for supposedly being like the most thanked job. Right? No, yeah.
So Christian, pray, don't lose heart. God's will be done. And even if after 15 years he still hasn't answered your prayer, That's okay. Have the attitude.
We say it's Fred. It's Fred from Courage the Cowardly Dog. That's who he is. So just let's see. Flavius Josephus, the first century Jewish historian. Wow, that's you. Huh. How'd you make it all this time? That's pretty. You got a time machine or something? What's up? I said I hate self-hate. You hate self-hate and deprecation in this language. I had to live for years. Yeah, I mean that was a big part of like what I'm like still, honestly, as far as my mental health goes, I'm still walking my way back out of a lot of just negative loops that this stupid religion programmed me to say constantly, was just blame yourself for everything. If anything goes not great, it's because God, is mad at you, or you don't have enough faith or whatever, that type of stuff. And then just the self-deprecation and self-hate, which they program into you, say you are nothing, you are trash, the best you can do is filthy rags to Jesus. And so, you could never accept any praise. You didn't do anything. God just did something and happened to use you. Okay. That you didn't do jack shit. Okay. And that shit gets into your head, man. And it literally causes like toxic shame, which ends up leading to, the addictive behaviors and stuff and coping mechanisms that are very unhealthy and stuff like that. Anyway, but yeah, and I'm still deprogramming that bullshit out of my brain using like mindfulness practices and stuff. But it's because you got these like totally negative scripts just running in your head, and you're having to go, oh wait, no, none of that's real. That's just left over from the fucking childhood trauma, from that religious trauma. Anyway, it's crazy. Guitar Dog, what's up, dude? How's it going? And I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. Yeah, that's literally the words. I love how they have to make the words not what the words say. It's like Justin always says in Deconstruction Zone. Is like, yeah, I love how they have to say that the words don't say what the words say in order to say that the Bible says something that the Bible doesn't say. And it's just amazing. It's amazing. It just shows how this book can just be used in any way an individual sees fit. You can rationalize around anything. You know what I mean? Like John said, if you believe in God and have faith in Jesus, you'll get superpower. That's the new version. That's the new unlimited version. That's the new unlimited max version of the Bible that says superpowers. Kids love it. Kids love the new version. You know what I mean? Superpowers. Oh, you want to use your superpowers to do something useful and tangible? A real no. But you can super like what happens. Yeah. So sign up. Completely useless superpowers. It's like if there was a superhero, it's like, I have magical superhuman powers, but I'm only allowed to use them if reality just plays out what was going to happen anyway. So, but when stuff happens that I want to have happen, that was my superpowers. Okay, that's how that goes. Jesus Christ, what a mind fuck. What was that? And when you pray for them to be healed for 10 years and they die, we're not going to mention that. No, that's something that doesn't happen. No, never does that happen. That's crazy.
Of Jesus, not my will, but your will be done, God, because his will is always better anyway. Number 3, the different genealogies of Jesus.
Take a look at the content.
Okay, we'll get on to that. Nitty said, waiting 10 years to be... What's up, Nitty? How you doing? He said, waiting 10 years to be healed and praising this is post hoc rationalization. Exactly. Apostate, which is explained by game theory. You praise your wins to keep playing the game. Yep, absolutely. It's yeah. It's just saving up the hits, forgetting the misses. That's that's where that's how that works. Eve said, if God heals you or prevents you from dying, isn't that just rejecting your place in heaven to make you suffer more first? Wait, if God heals you or prevents you from dying, isn't that just rejecting your place in heaven? But yeah, it kind of is. The guy's like, no, you gotta, I need you to suffer a little bit more. Okay, you gotta earn this magical amusement park in the sky. Okay, you can't just be coming up here. All right, what are you, an aborted baby? No, get out of here. Okay, no, you gotta suffer. Just like the fuck out of here with that.
Contradiction between the genealogy for Jesus in the Bible. right?
Oh.
That's a clear, blatant contradiction.
I wonder how he's going to get around this. A lot of times they'll say, like my family and my doctrine always said, no, that one's Mary. One is for Mary. Okay. And it's like, no, it's not. It's like, I don't even think Mary's name is mentioned in the other one. How could it be for Mary? I don't know.
If you read through Matthew 1 and Luke 3, you'll see two different genealogies for Jesus.
Yeah.
Now, young Don claims this is a contradiction, but it clearly isn't. Because
Oh.
remember, Jesus had two parents.
Oh my God.
Mary and Joseph. Even though Joseph had no biological involvement in the conception of Jesus, he was still Jesus's legal father. And since Mary and Joseph were not brothers and sisters of each other, therefore they're not going to have the same parents. Therefore, the lineage of Joseph is going to be different to the lineage of Mary.
Did it say Mary in the lineage? Am I mistaken here? I could have sworn I went back and looked it up and it was like they both say Joseph at the end. I don't. Anyway, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I could have sworn that neither of the lists say Mary.
Matthew's genealogy is of Joseph's line, while Luke's is of Mary's. Now, some people will respond, okay, then why wasn't Mary mentioned in Luke's genealogy? There was a Jewish custom.
Oh, okay. So I was right. Yeah. So there's a Jewish custom that just says that her genealogy ends with whoever she marries or something.
Only the male names were included in genealogies. And so Luke was following that custom and therefore didn't need to mention Mary's name.
Oh,
But these
that's so stupid. Then what was the point of making it her genealogy? Like she doesn't even get mentioned in her own genealogy.
are logical, clear things that are
My God.
irrefutable.
I'm surprised that he would even make this assertion. Jesus has two parents.
What's up, BS? How we doing, man? It's glad to see you here. You said Young Don's deconversion was intense. I actually have the conversation that he had with MythVision with Derek yesterday saved, so I want to go back and watch it. It was long. It had to be because I swear it was. I was like on break or something at work, and I was like, oh, the Young Don guy like deconverted. He's on MythVision, and then like 4 hours later was like the end of work or whatever. Like, holy, he's still going? Okay, holy shit, this is a long. It had to be like 4. I have to go back and check, but I swear it's got to be like 4 hours long. It's a long fucking video, but I got it saved. I want to check it out. Check it out. Go watch MythVision and check out the deconversion story of Young Don. It's up there.
Parents. He's going to have two genealogies, depending on which side you're looking at. Now, let's say the Bible included 3
So
genealogies of Jesus, and they were all...
God, they're just willing to do anything, man. Like they'll just sit here and wrap their brain into press. That's I think the part of being a Christian that I miss, that I don't miss the most. I hated having to do this, and I hated feeling like but you're just making stuff up to justify what you've decided you want to think in the first place. Like nothing can change your mind here. You're just looking for any kind of rationalization to just stick your brain in the fucking brain blender so you can keep thinking the crazy shit.
very different to each other. Then that would raise a problem because Jesus can't have 3 parents, but
No.
2 genealogies is not a problem. It's not a contradiction at all. No.
Yeah, it is. It is because that is so obviously not Mary's genealogy. You just made that up. There's no evidence that is the case.
Number 4, young Don says God started to fail me years ago.
Really, my deconstruction started when God started to fail me years ago. I've been a Christian for 3 years, or I was a Christian for 3 years.
I think this reveals that young Don had a wrong expectation of what God had promised him. God never promises Christians an easy life here. We're promised trials, tribulation, and persecution here. But what we are promised is eternal life in heaven. And so, did God fail young Don by not keeping that promise? Well, no, young Don hasn't even died yet. So God...
Jesus Christ. He's not even dead yet. So how can he say that God failed him? God only fails people after they die. What the fuck is that? Oh, wow, that was irrefutable right there. That's irrefutable.
God hasn't failed him.
Jesus.
And so he had wrong expectations. It's the same thing that happens with people who are told, hey, come to Jesus and you'll be healthy and wealthy. And then when they realize it doesn't turn out that way, they leave. They came for the wrong reason.
There's no other ways that God can fail you. Like, can't God fail you just as like the Holy Spirit, like allowing you to like feel the peace of the Lord or the joy of the Lord and other stuff like that is actually promised? Like, It's not just that you go to heaven and that's it. There were a lot of other promises in the Bible, one of which is that you'll have this overflowing abundance of peace, which is hilarious because have you met a Christian? They don't have peace. That's the last bucket. No, they have just like instead because constant. Okay, they have no peace at all. But they tell themselves like, I am so peaceful because if I say that I'm not, then I'm not being a good Christian because he promised that I would be peaceful. Shit. Oh, the life is great. And then they're all just like teary-eyed right about the cry. Just constantly the trauma's right on the surface. All they need to hear is a couple like string notes from a keyboard, and they're just like, because they're just all right there on the edge. But that's the peace of the Lord, God damn it.
Reason. It's like this analogy that some people have said before. If you're in an airplane and you're offered a parachute, you're offered a parachute because you're told the plane is going to crash.
Are you seriously doing the fucking Ray Comfort? Of course, this weirdo watches Ray Comfort. That's like my favorite thing that Ray Comfort asks people. If you're flying out of a plane, why would you want a parachute? And they're like, because you don't want to splat on the earth, gravity. I don't know what kind of answer you're looking for here. But because falling to your death is bad. I don't know. But yeah, it's just funny. Thank you. Yeah, if you don't mind, you want to hit that like button, I'd really appreciate it. It does help the that old algorithm. That's right. Captain Des, what's up, dude? How's it going? And Deep Stay. Hey. So I'm picking up my car right now. I have to melt all the ice on the windshield. I hope I don't need a tow truck. Damn, that sucks. She's like, again, like things that I don't even. People keep telling me that about like moving up north. They're like, you got to scrape your windshield. Okay. And I'm always just like, what the fuck are you even talking about? And then the other day I saw a TikTok where this lady was clearly having a rough day. Okay. She was just having a time. Okay. And she was just scraping the ice on the front of her windshield like a maniac, just like put her like seriously just at the end of her rope. And I'm like, oh God, I don't want to be that lady. That sounds like a bad day for anybody. I don't care who you are. That's a bad day. But yeah, that's like the final straw. You're just like losing your mind, scratching anyway. Does not seem fun. I'm sorry you got to do that, Commander. That sucks. But let me see what we got here. Hey, Mighty Gilbert, how you doing? Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you. Yeah. So, and if anyone can help out, I'm still behind and won't be catching up until the first of the month when my first paycheck comes from the new job. Yeah, and y'all, I put it in the community section. Head back like a couple posts, and you can donate to Commander 401 here and help him with some really serious medical bills, and they really need some help. So if you could, head back. Anything helps in situations like that. They have to like change their living situation, having to stay at hotels, and so it drains a lot of money as well as the medical expenses. So if anybody could do any help, it'd be awesome. But yeah, like I said, that's in the community section of the channel there.
Crash, and so you need to jump out before it does. Now, are you in an airplane
I lost track.
And you're offered a parachute? You're offered a parachute because you're told the plane is going to crash, and so you need to jump out before it does. Now, are you putting on the parachute to improve your flight, or are you putting on the parachute to be spared from the jump? Clearly, to be spared from the jump. And so while you're
spared from the jump, wouldn't that improve the flight though? I feel like that would still count as improving the flight because you don't blow up in the end. I don't know. I feel like that we're just getting lost in semantics here. Okay, this sounds like, I don't know.
Waiting for the time to jump, you've got the parachute on, you're feeling a bit uncomfortable because you can't sit down properly on your seat. You're not going to throw off the parachute saying, on this parachute, I'm going to get rid of it because it didn't improve my flight. Well, no, because you didn't put it on for that reason. And if you did put the parachute on...
They're fucking analogies. God, look, religious analogies always get so stupid so quick. They're it's like, oh yeah, but you didn't put the parachute on to make the flight better, so that was stupid. That's expecting the flight to be better when you just put on the parachute. Like he's making it sound like it's exactly the thing that it's not supposed to be. Where they say like you don't just become a Christian to get fire insurance. Am I right? Fire insurance. I came up. That's what I came up with. That was brilliant, right? It's like it's hellfire insurance. Anyway, I know it's brilliant. Anyway, you don't do it just for that. It's, you know, it's for to improve your life here spiritually, right? Doesn't necessarily, according to the doctrine I was raised with, doesn't necessarily mean that like life isn't going to be bad, but it's supposed to mean that life is still better because you can rely on Jesus, right? Isn't that supposed to be the fucking point? So the point is, God can still fail you, even if you're not expecting life to be perfect or whatever. He might just be failing you spiritually, right? Or the Holy Spirit failing to communicate what you know, the like the interpretations or whatever consistently, stuff like that. You know, there's so many ways that God can fail somebody without it only having to be about that one very specific interpretation of what he's saying.
Just to make it a bit more comfortable to sit down, then you put it on for the right.
And you notice he hasn't said anything. Like, all young Don said was, God failed me for years. And then that's it. Now he's making all of this up. We don't know like what else. I don't personally anyway know in what sense does he mean God failed him, because he didn't say that. He's just completely making assumptions here, but that's sort of what they do. That's sort of all they do, actually, now that I think about it.
Wrong reason. And so if young Don has come to Christianity in order to get sicknesses healed and to make all his problems go away in this life, to be cured of addictions even, he came for the wrong reason.
Is that what he said, man? I don't know. I would have liked for you to at least let him finish, but
we come to flee from the judgment that is to come, the wrath that is to come, which Jesus says he'll take for us, and he took for us on the cross if we trust in him.
So you're just, it's just, you need to be just terrorized into belief, and then just act like everything's fine no matter what, and just deal with all the suffering, and there's no point in asking for anything because it's not God's will, then fuck off. Like, there's so many, it's like, what's the point, man? Like, you just make Christianity sound terrible.
And so then, no matter how uncomfortable being a Christian may be in certain circumstances, you get persecuted or afflicted by people, you're not going to throw off Jesus, because you know that the greater threat is the judgment of God to come, and not these puny little threats on people and criticisms you get from the world. And so therefore, when you receive those criticisms,
puny little, it's, you know, it's just these puny little criticisms that you get from the world. You just grow some balls, bitch. Like, what the fuck is happening?
you're going to cling closer to Jesus. Look forward to the jump in some sense.
So when Jesus is failing you, rely on him more. Yeah, this all makes perfect sense, man.
Young Don should think about is it worth it to live life your own way, doing whatever you want, getting released from the shackles of what you think are rules and burdens upon you?
Yeah, it is worth it. Believe me. I'll tell you right now, it's super worth it, man. What you're doing, complete waste of a fucking life. Where you are giving up your agency, you're giving up your autonomy, you're allowing other people to manipulate and control you because you have decided that a book is something that you're going to live by, that people can point to and go, you need to do what I say, because didn't you say that you live according to this book? Okay, well, now do what I say. It's a full-blown allowing people to just take your autonomy from you and give you meaning that they think you should have, when you should be out like obtaining your own meaning, finding your own meaning, you know, blazing your own path, learning how to be efficient. One of the biggest things that I've noticed, I'm like doing a lot of like research in religious trauma and whatnot, right? And one of the things that it was actually a really like a relief for me to hear that like people coming out of cults and like high controlled environments had the same problem, right? And I was homeschooled, I was heavily indoctrinated, and I wasn't allowed to like talk to anybody that wasn't specifically in my little in group of Christianity. Very walled off from everything. Growing up, I got out eventually when I was like in my teen years, but the damage is already done when you're a kid. But self-efficacy is a big part of it, right? Self-efficacy and believing that you can like make choices and stuff in life or learn to do things, right, is really difficult for people that are raised in those kinds of environments, because all of your autonomy comes from, it's like taken from you, right? So you can't make your own decisions. Like when they ask like, well, is it right or wrong? Like, hold on, I gotta ask. Like, that's how it had to be. You just be like, I don't know what's right and wrong. I got to go find out for my book. I don't know. I got to go ask the pastor. I don't know. What am I supposed to do? I don't know. I got to go ask the pastor. Like, I can't decide my own stuff, right? And so it causes this like this lack of belief in oneself to be able to accomplish things. I didn't even drive. Like, I didn't drive until I was like, I want to say 25 or something like that, and got my license taken away almost immediately because I was terrified to drive. That's the other thing that it causes, just like unbelievable anxiety problems constantly, which, you know, leads to shit like alcoholism. And anyways, well, it's a whole thing. But like, I did not believe in myself to be able to accomplish anything, because I was taught my whole life that you can't do anything. You can't do anything on your own. You have to rely on Jesus, right? And I was so thankful to like be reading about other people that came out of those exact same kinds of environments, and they had the hardest time with self-efficacy like that too. So I was like, oh my gosh, okay, so that's why. It's like, geez, I thought I was just like an idiot or something. Like, what the hell? Like, why can't I just accomplish normal stuff, you know? But that's why, because I was brainwashed into believing I can't do anything as a child. But anyway.
Is it worth having a cup of pleasure at the expense of an ocean of pain? Is it worth rejecting Jesus because of false expectations you had of him, and as a result, not having him spare you from the judgment to come?
I'm just gonna be living life like a normal human. Yeah, man. I'm done with all of this foolishness. I'm done with the bigotry, and it's held me back.
Hell yeah. Good for you, man. Hell yeah. That's another one that like hurts, is the bigotry. You know, I was like, I had friends in my life that I really did love that I completely rejected just because of the lifestyle that they lived. When I found out, when they came out to me, which is honestly like, if they are willing to come out to you, that's like a pretty big deal. You know, they clearly like trusted you with that information. And then I basically went and betrayed their trust by like cutting off the relationship because of that. And that hurts, you know, that hurt them, you know, but it hurt me too. Like, it hurts bigotry doesn't just hurt the people that get outcasted. It hurts everybody. That was a relationship I cut off. And that, like, when I snapped out of this whole thing, it was like, you kind of realize like, oh my God, like I didn't choose to be bad to that person. That was not my choice. That was what I was supposed to do. Right. And I was just doing what I thought I was supposed to do in accordance with the fucking bigot beliefs of the in-group, you know. But it's sick. It's, you know, it's just awful. I did the same thing with like my best friend growing up, just because he was an atheist. It wasn't even that he was like gay or anything. He just didn't believe this stuff anymore. It's like, not allowed to talk to you. Nope, we're done. We're through, best friend. And yeah, thankfully we're back friends again. But yeah, that's the type of shit that these stupid beliefs do to you, you know. Music said, what's up, dude? How you doing? I'm glad you're back. This is awesome. Said, Christianity filled me with so much fear, it paralyzed my entire life. 100%. I was right there with you. I had like a anxiety disorder for like so long. That was like half of, I think, you know, like why I like went into like the addiction direction and everything. And was diagnosed with anxiety disorders like over and over again. It's just recently that I've been able to like deal with all that stuff without medications and shit like that. But it's mostly been because I'm, you know, getting some mental health care and doing mindfulness practices and stuff like that. But yeah, it takes a long time to get this shit out of your brain, you know. So I commend this dude a lot. But I hope that, you know, I hope that he has a smoother transition than I did.
For 3 years. Well, not anymore.
Held you back from what? From living a life, sin? You see, when you have your eyes open to the truth of Christianity, you see...
Doing what? Living your life in sin? Now, keep in mind, they think sin is anything that is not God stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they will sit there. I'm actually working on a video. I want to do a pre-recorded video about idolatry and how everything is fucking idolatry to these people. Right? Because anything that you like enjoy doing, that's bad. Can't do that. No, that's an idol now, because you did it in place of your Bible study. Right? That's an idol that you worship, you know, like that calf that the Israelites worshipped after they got out of Egypt or whatever the fuck. Like, that's it, and it makes you feel guilty for just enjoying things. Right? Again, with the mental, the psychological manipulation and shaming and stuff like that, it makes you feel guilty just for enjoying stuff. Like there was a meme that I saw where it was like, it was like the atheist says that Christians are enslaved to their religion. And then it shows it's like atheists, and then it shows them with like Netflix and Pornhub and all this stuff like around them, as if they're enslaved to fucking Netflix. Are you crazy? So this is what, but that just proved how enslaved they actually are. They thought they were making a point in the opposite direction, but they did it. They just proved it's like, oh, you're so fucking enslaved that you think enjoying anything other than what your pastor told you you're allowed to enjoy, you're enslaved to that stuff. Unfucking believable.
See what God has saved you from, not just the wrath of God, but also from enslavement to sin. God's holding you back from things that are going to hurt you. It's like the metal railings on a balcony. Someone may say, oh, this is holding me back from
music. No, that's always like one of the number one beliefs of mental health stuff. You always think you're a special case. You're not a special case. Thank goodness, right? There's a lot of other people in your shoes, and there's a lot of methods to get the help that you need. But yeah, dude, not on your own. Knowing that one thing is very helpful. It definitely helped me, because I always thought I was like a special case. It was like extra broken than everybody else. No, it doesn't work like that.
Really just being on the edge. What's actually holding you back from falling, holding you back from things that are going to hurt you.
How do you know, man? What if he's not talking about? He keeps cutting him off like so early on. Like he's just, it's like all he's saying, like I was held back for 3 years, and that's it. That's all he was allowed to say. And then now he's deciding everything that he meant by that like half a fucking sentence. And now is saying, oh, he's only holding you back from all the things that are going to hurt you. I'm doing a Ray Comfort. I get that mixed up with the British accent. I'm sorry. But no, not that, man. That's just what you have to do in your own head to rationalize around somebody just being like, no, I literally was being manipulated and controlled for 3 years and allowed my autonomy to be taken over by other people that said they knew the book better than I did. And I'd already said that I live by the book, so they get to tell me whatever I got to do.
It's like the metal railings on a balcony. Someone may say, oh, this is holding me back from really just being on the edge. What's actually holding you back from falling down to your demise?
Blaster, what's up, dude? Blaster said, I binge watched a series on Netflix. I am a slave now. Yes, you are. You're a slave to Netflix. Can't even quit, can you? Go delete your account right now. See, you're not doing it. Why? Because you're addicted. That's right. You're enslaved by Netflix. Anything else you might enjoy a little bit, It wouldn't surprise me if they showed like golf clubs up there. You're enslaved to golf. Okay. That one thing that you do that kind of feels good, where you can get outside, get away from the family for 5 minutes with all the crying kids and be able to go do golf and stuff. No, you're a slave to that golf now. Okay. Because you do it when you should be fucking going to church. You selfish piece of shit. It's like, good God, man, what the fuck?
See, the railings there are for your safety, and God's rules are there for our good. When God says don't lie, don't steal, don't swear, don't be disrespectful to people, love your neighbor, it's actually for our good. And for
Did it say don't swear? Is that something God said? Where he's like, and don't say that fuck word. You better not. Only bad people say the fuck words. Okay.
Good of those around us.
Now you can say slurs. That's fine. Okay. But saying fuck, now that's a bridge too goddamn far. Okay. You can't say that. But you can, you can call gay people slurs and black people. You can do all that type of stuff. God's cool with that. The first commandment is, if you don't worship the right God, you're evil and immoral. So, other cultures, you can call them slurs, whatever. God doesn't like them. They're different.
What's God holding you back from? Living a life of hurting other people, living a life of pointlessness and a whole lot of regret. God's preventing you from doing things that you wish you didn't do. Sin is deceitful.
Oh, yeah. Sin is the deceitful thing, not you, not this guy, Yeah, he's just being purely honest with himself and others. Jesus Christ. Deep State said, I almost got the car out of the parking lot successfully. I'll let you know when I get out the gate and back on the main road. All right, cool, man. Keep let us know what's going on. Please be careful, right? Because it's driving scary. Trust me, I know. I didn't do it for most of my life. Actually, I just started driving like a couple of years ago.
Very deceitful. It promises you joy and doesn't deliver. It's like if you were to order something from an online.
Literally the opposite. That's your thing, man. And you have to sell them that, because they have to, like, what they're trying to do here is get you to only get your happiness from the church. So that's why they say you can't do anything else that could have those endorphins in your brain going and make you feel good and shit. Because they want to make sure you're only getting endorphins from singing fucking songs at church and waving your hands and doing all that stuff, right? That's the only time you're allowed. And that doesn't provide that many, right? You know, that's kind of not the best way to get your endorphins going. So like, they really don't want you to be doing anything that might like give you more endorphins. You know what I mean?
Online store like eBay, and the feedback rating of the person was 0%, and all the feedback was, he never delivered. This person didn't give what I ordered. Would you buy from them? And that is sin's feedback record. It promises us joy and satisfaction, but sin always doesn't deliver. And so what God is holding us back from is from the most unreliable seller in the history.
But just anything other than your religion is sin, according to you. Like, what does it mean? Like, just living life without Jesus at the center of it is sin, right? You're just living in sin by just not being a Christian. And you're saying that doesn't deliver? It absolutely does deliver. If we have, I can compare directly. I remember exactly what was going on when I was a Christian. And I remember exactly what was going on when I was not a Christian. And I could tell you the not being a Christian delivered a hell of a lot more than the fucking Christian bullshit that delivered basically nothing and basically left me very inept in this world.
Of the universe. So young Don, come to Christ. Trust that Jesus paid for your sin. Don't get swayed to and fro by every idea.
Well said. But God doesn't like them. They're different. That's right. I mean, isn't that what the first commandment says? Like, it's basically like if they don't worship the right God, they're just evil. So yeah, the basis for all racism basically is the first fucking commandment, as far as I can tell. But see, how does me watching Netflix harm others? See that? Did you see? You're misinterpreting what sin is. No, this has got nothing to do with it. Harming people. That nothing to do with anything. Okay, so good, like right and wrong has nothing to do with how you treat other people. Okay, according to Christianity, because you can't masturbate either. You know, you can't think a lusty thought. You know, who's going to get hurt by that? Like, what do you think a lusty thought and somebody gets kicked in the nuts? Like, none of that happens. It's just like it's like they've completely redefined what right and wrong is, and to make it into something that's basically just loyalty to the religion. That's rightness, and wrongness is just anything that's not absolute loyalty to the religion. To anybody else, we would have some kind of like don't hurt people as a basis for morality. Not them. No, it's just if you said you're sorry to the wizard, the sky wizard, you're good. You haven't done anything wrong. Okay, because the saying you're sorry to the wizard is the thing that wipes clean all of the quote unquote wrong, without having to do anything to make amends to anybody. Yeah, which no wonder terrible people tend to love Christianity, given what it sells them. You know, so you wonder why Russell Brand went to Christianity. Yeah, after a bunch of allegations that were disgusting, and he's like, you know, who else will forgive me? Like, what? How can I stay relevant if I have all these allegations? I know. I'll say I'm sorry to a wizard. That's my Russell. I don't know if it's very good. I have to go listen to his voice again to see if I can get. I feel like the pitch is kind of on, right? I don't know.
That comes along. In the 3 years that young Don professed to be a Christian, he changed his position regularly, even to the point of denying the Trinity at one stage, believing in salvation by works. It was tragic to see this. He needed to ground his roots.
Oh, because he didn't he didn't just stick with the exact same doctrine the entire time. He grew. You know, he actually they read more and more. See, this is the thing too. They don't want you to grow. They don't want you to change your mind. They don't want you to update your beliefs at all. You need to decide what your beliefs are at the beginning, never question them, keep believing them. And if you ever do, well, then you're sinning. That's wrong. You're being evil.
Roots in God's word.
Jesus.
Trust God's promises, what he actually has promised to us, eternal life if we believe. And so even when he's faced with difficulties and sufferings in life, he would long for heaven. As scripture tells us, don't set your minds on things on this earth, but set your mind on things above, because our citizenship is in heaven and we await a savior, the Lord.
God, and imagine, and this, the fact that people live this way, when we all know that none of this is true. It's literally just getting people to be okay with being harassed or oppressed. Really, it's just a way to be like, you should be okay with being oppressed. Don't ever say anything about, making your life better or making society better. Just, just deal with it, because you're going to go to heaven. So just stop complaining. You're being selfish. Like, that's Jesus Christ.
Lord Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
So
that's what I was saying. Jesus fucking Christ.
Pray for young Don that God would save him, bring him out of the confusion that he thought Christianity is, bring him out of this enslavement of living life his own way, being enslaved to sin,
What?
to find the freedom.
You talked to this dude before? Oh, were you in a fucking haunted house? Like, where did you run into this guy? He's one of the people that pop out, out of little windows that open up out of those things. He's like, put the glowy stuff on his face and pops out. God damn it, dude's scary looking. He's terrifying. I don't know what it is. He's Fred. He's Fred from Courage the Cowardly Dog. It's terrifying.
There is in Christ, and to be spared from the judgment day that is to come. Friends, cling on to Jesus to the end. He's worth holding on to. What?
Oh, nice. Music said, Don's interview with Derek was mesmerizing. Marathon yesterday. Dude circumcised himself as an adult. What? Himself? Wow. Didn't need to think of that. Thanks for the image there, man. I gotta fucking eat out of this after this, man. Like, what are you doing? Okay. The rest of us have to go eat after this. It's almost lunchtime. What are you doing? Okay, man. So everybody, don't picture that. Stop it. Stop thinking about it. I know with the did he do it with like sewing needle? Like, was it those like clamp? I don't know how it works. I'm sorry. Stop thinking about it, everybody. You're the ones still thinking about it.
Left Christianity? A popular YouTuber, Young Don, recently left Christianity, and he gives four main.
Oh, it started over. Hold on. All right. What else we got here? What time is it? 11:30. Okay, we got some time. We'll watch a short one. There was one I wanted to watch, and I hope I can find it. Let me see here. No. There was one that was like, damn, did I not? Shit. It would be right in the top here. So let me go back home. I'll just find something. Damn. It was like somebody reacting to it, one of them Jubilee things. So that was kind of interesting. Oh, look. Okay, I guess Young Don's going to be the topic for the day, because this is big. So he was he was a pretty big deal. I didn't go and look at like what his subscriber count was or anything. So I'd never heard of him before, which is kind of odd because I cover a lot of this stuff. I have a dummy account. It's all signed into like all the Fundie channels and stuff. So I'm surprised that I never crossed paths with that dude. But let's see what he's got.
Okay, let's start here.
Where are we at? Where are we starting? Man, I want to start with you, but where is here? Oh, sorry, Kari.
Let's start with the Young Don conversation.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's start with the Young Don conversation.
Yeah, you said that. You said that. I know. We got it. Do you want to start the conversation? I'll follow up. What you start, and then I'll go. And if you want to start going with sex toys, that was stupid. That was bad. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code word Brantley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter that code word Brantley at checkout. And adamandeve.com is America's #1 sex toy dispensary. Save yourself a trip to the sticky store, and just get the stuff shipped to you. It's sticky free. There's not that sticky stuff that gets all that white stuff. It's just all over everything in those stores. It's just, it's gross, right? I feel like you got to take like 7 showers and get back from that place. Anyway, so yeah, don't deal with any of that. Just have it sent directly to you. The packaging is discreet. It does not say sex toys on the boxes. It's very discreet, unless you got somebody that opens up boxes, which if you get rid of that roommate, okay, it's not good for your vibes. Okay, if he's open up your packages like that. But they have discreet packaging. It comes quickly, and so can you. Go to adamandeve.com, enter that code word Brentley. That's right. Oh yeah, and if you want, you can hit that like button. I'd appreciate that. Anything helps in that regard. And it's a little thumb thing down there, right? It's like kind of what's represented on the screen there. It just helps. Anyway, all right, thanks.
I'll say this.
This dude says so much unnecessary shit. He's just like, okay, let's start here. At this, where we are going to start is where we're starting at. I'm going to say this. What I'm about to say is what I will have had said once I've said it. So, dude, just say the fucking thing. Why are you prepping us with that? You're going to say words. Yeah.
I've never personally spoken to Young Don before. We have some mutual connections. So like, I've heard different things, third party, about some of the stuff that he was going through.
What was it? What was he going through, man? Spill the tea. Let's do it.
And I know he had a rough journey being a Christian. I know he faced a lot of things, a lot of deception. I think he was involved in like some sort of like cult or something like that.
It's weird how close those things are, huh? It's when he's like, I think he was in a cult. And it's like, at what point does a religion become a cult, man? I'm just curious as to that. Because when I look at, religious trauma, and you hear a lot from these like literal, like what would absolutely explicitly be considered cults, and the people that survive them, they have very similar situations that I had. So, and I would never have considered myself raised in a cult, but it was a very high control fundamentalist environment where it's a lot of just fear of the outside and stuff like that. It's very cult like. So at what point does it, where's the line? Like at what point does it stop being a religion and now it's a cult? Like where's that line? Because the fact that it's such a fucking blurry line that we can't really place easily kind of proves that like maybe it's not as maybe religion's not as great as y'all think it is. Maybe it's kind of a cult, just depends on how dedicated you are to it, right? Which you would think is the thing that they're trying to get people to be dedicated to it, right? But you get too dedicated, now you're in a cult. Okay, what the fuck? Like that's not.
He had a lot of things going on, right? So it's definitely sad to see that
there you go.
He's come to this point.
Get out of here.
Where he literally said yesterday.
You keep on ruining our streams here with your streaking ass, with your white streaking ass. It is white. Go to the beach. Get a thong. What are you doing? Okay, this is crazy, man. Like it's like we could have turned the lights completely. It's blue in here. Okay, and I could see you from like a mile away. Get a tan. All right, maybe go to one of those spray-on places. Just get a thong, or just pull your shorts up your ass enough. I could do it too. I think
that the Holy Spirit is not real.
Bingo. Yeah, it's not. It's not.
He's tweeted about some stuff about not fearing hell and things of that nature, and because hell doesn't exist.
Bingo. Yeah, another good thing that he said. Hell doesn't exist. It's just a mechanism for fear, obviously, and control. It's the stick of the carrot and stick, heaven being the carrot.
And all this type of stuff.
Hashtag
I want to read this real quick.
We got to make this trend. We got to make this start trending, y'all. Okay. I want to see hashtag pale pig all throughout the goddamn internet. I can't wait till I'm like, I wish I was like big enough that would actually happen. I need to be a lot prettier and put on makeup while I'm talking to y'all. And I think that would do it. I think I could get that trending right away.
He said, on February 14th, he tweeted this. He said, a threat of Jesus failing to give me what I asked for in prayer, as he promises to do in John 14:14. And before any Christians assume that I was asking for things like money or success, here's the 3 things that I asked Jesus to do that he never did. And then he goes into a list of things.
Well, at least, okay. See, and this guy's already doing a better job, which is crazy because I swear this dude's like as lazy as I am when it comes to making content. But he's actually going to go through and read what the things were that he expected Jesus to do that he didn't do, right? So anyway, that's oh, Andrew, hey, how's it going? Said it's a federal crime to open someone else's mail. If your roommates are opening your mail, remind them of that. They might stop then or report them. That's actually a good point. That's right. I didn't realize I could have had my roommate arrested on a federal crime for opening up my damn AdamandEve.com packages and then shaking them around. You know, my family was over. Well, look what came, look what came in the mail. And I was like, why didn't you tell me that came? And he's like, this is funny, isn't it? And now your family knows you get dildo. Wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. Okay. Anyway, this is why he had to do that. It's not cool.
The first thing that he goes into is this story about this kid that he was praying for that had cancer. And he said, number one, I went to a church where a young boy was dying of cancer. The boy was a devout Christian, and so was his family. The entire church prayed for the boy to be healed. I know I certainly prayed for him to be healed. He died and he never saw his 20th birthday.
It's a mysterious way he was being taught a lesson.
Here's why this disproves Christianity. It says, so this is a verse. It says, is anyone among you sick? Then he must call the elders of the church, and they are to pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Lord. And the prayer offered in faith will restore the one who is sick, and the Lord will raise him up. And if he has committed sins, they will be forgiven.
They will be forgiven him. I don't know why that him is there. It doesn't make any sense. Kind of just, the Bible's weird. It just sounds like somebody weird talking. I don't know.
Not only does the Bible promise,
you got to stop licking your lips, buddy. Okay. I don't know what is going on here. He's like, anyway, I sound like my dog. Jesus.
If elders anoint him with oil and pray for him that he will be healed. But recall, Jesus says, anything I ask in his name, he will do. This is blatant failure to follow through on these promises revealed that these scriptures aren't true.
Yeah, you got to stop reading the Bible, man. If you want to be a good Christian and actually believe that Christianity is true, you can't read the Bible. All right, that's going to throw you. That was your first mistake. Okay, stop reading the shit because you're always going to find out that the words on the page don't actually mean what the words on the page say. So don't, and that kind of throws people off that are trying to be good Christians. It's funny how often reading the Bible is what causes people to become atheists,
So that's the first example that he gave. The second one he says is a similar story. He says he went to a church where the pastor had been battling a chronic illness for the last decade. Again, we all prayed for his illness, but he only got sicker with time.
Yeah.
And then the third one is about.
So you nothing to say about that, man? Like you don't want to maybe say that he was wrong or anything about that? He's just like, nah, moving on to the next one. That one actually makes pretty good sense. Jesus. Music said, I was a child with chronic illness begging for healing. It is toxic to your self-esteem when you realize Jesus doesn't love you enough to heal you. Yeah, I'm sorry that you went through that. That is a really terrible thing to put on a child, right? Not only that, but it's like wasting time when you could have been getting treatments elsewhere and not having all your not putting like faith in magic healing you and just having realistic expectations about the medical science that may or may not help with the chronic condition. And then it allows you to end up being able to handle living with that chronic condition better, right? If you're constantly just going, oh, God will heal it. God will heal it. God will heal it. I know we can. I just got to have enough faith. God will heal it. God will heal it. You never, you don't come to terms with your condition the way that you would probably need to live a much more fulfilling life. That's why I would say something like Buddhist practices and mindfulness practices and stuff would be a much better route to go. I do that a lot I have chronic pain. And so I do that a lot. But yeah, sorry you went through that, man. That fucking sucks. But I totally feel you. It's awful.
A kid that was struggling with lust. Let me pull it up here. He said there was
a kid that was struggling with lust. Jesus Christ, man. Like everybody, I mean, everybody that's not asexual, I'm not discrediting asexual people. But for the most part, everybody lusts, man. Like you're not struggling with lust. You're just being a human being and somebody's making you feel like shit for it.
The kid that was struggling with lust, he came to him and he desperately wanted to quit for good. He felt massive shame and guilt. He fasted, we prayed.
And see, felt massive shame and guilt. Massive shame and guilt lead to addictive behaviors, right? So the irony here is they are causing him to have this addiction to this stuff. And I have kind of updated my position on whether or not pornography is addictive. I think it's different kind of thing, but it still can work the same way in your brain. If you use it as like a coping mechanism or whatever, then yeah, it can be addictive. But it's addictive because of the shame and guilt and stuff, specifically the toxic shame and believing that you're broken, and constantly trying to make yourself feel good, even though you're broken. Because if you're broken, you'll never actually try to have a better life because you'll never believe that you can. So you just do things to make yourself feel better and like immediately, like just like like drugs, alcohol, so porn addiction, stuff like that, because you believe that you're never going to be able to give yourself any healthy dopamine releases because you're too broken to be able to do that. So you just get it through drugs and alcohol, and then you kind of like, well, I'm probably just a drug addict anyway at heart, because of the toxic shame, right? And so that's why it's anyway. So that's the whole thing. Well, yeah, toxic shame is a motherfucker.
Elders prayed for him, and he recently admitted publicly that he fell back into the same sin again. And then he goes on to say that you can make up unbiblical.
Hey, Spiral Times, how you doing? It's good to see you. Said at work, watch this later, like always. Oh, I appreciate that. I always wonder who watches it later. No, that's awesome. Appreciate that.
Cool excuses like, well, sometimes God answers prayers with no, but that simply is not what the book says. Jesus says, anything you ask for, I will do. James says elders anoint the sick with oil and they will be healed.
Did you have the right oil? Okay, it's a very specific kind of oil. It's called anointing oil, and you buy it at the Dollar Tree, probably. I'd say maybe Five Below. I don't know is exactly where they sell that stuff, but probably one of those two though. I feel like they would have to have it at the Dollar Tree. That's the only kind of health insurance people that go to the Dollar Tree can afford. It's anointing oil. You know what I mean? Anyway, Amber said, I lust for garlic bread. I do too most of the time. I'm going to be completely honest. And Wolfos responded to that and said, Sid, wait, did it work? And Amber doesn't understand the question, and frankly, neither do I. Does anybody else understand the question? Yeah, we need some clarity here. This is a very important conversation going on in the chat here, and we really want to get to the bottom of this. Okay, so if you can just enlighten us, I'd appreciate it. Okay, because we're all waiting with bated breath on the edge of our seats. Come on, man. You got 1 minute. I'm going to put a time limit on it. You got 1 minute to clarify this shit.
These blatant. Hold on, where'd it go?
You can edit this stuff, man. Like you can edit this out. Unless it was live. Did I click on the live? I don't think I clicked on a live though. I think this is the edited version. The fuck?
Here it is. These blatant failures.
That was an edit. How did he edit? Okay, you know what? Never mind.
Of unanswered prayers.
He like has AI edit his videos or something.
Prove these promises to be lies. He also said, let me pull it up.
Yeah, repression is harmful. And then a lot of times, like, and this was what this is like kind of like the divide as far as scholarship goes, like psychology scholarship. They were, they basically were making the case that like pornography isn't addictive. It's just that people feel shameful about it. And usually the only people that report being addicted to pornography and shit like that are folks from like high control religious backgrounds. So they are just feeling the guilt and shame, and then they're feeling like they're doing something, like they're craving something they shouldn't be craving, and that is what ends up making it feel like an addiction. But other the people in the as far as the psychology scholarship disagree. So just throwing that out there. That's the divide. Anyway, because I've been on the other side of the coin, and I've kind of cozied up to being okay with people saying that porn is addictive. Somebody that was addicted to like opiates and shit, it kind of bothered, that's sort of, I'm like, that's not being fucking addicted, man. Do you get sick? Do you break out in fucking cold sweats and you can't sleep for 3 weeks? Huh? No, you can't. None of that happens. So that's where my mind go. But I was like physically addicted. It was totally different. Anyway.
I'll say this, man.
Dude, okay, so like all that time, and then he's like, I'm gonna say words now. What the fuck is wrong with you? Just say the words. And then he's not. Now he's not. Dude, you have got the. Oh my God.
The beauty of God is that we have a choice. What? And we can choose whether or not we want to follow him or not. And I think that that's beautiful, and it's also a curse because a lot of people are going to make the wrong decision.
Who are you responding to? That doesn't. So you're saying the fact that it's a choice that people like can choose to follow Christ or whatever, that's why the promises and stuff that he believed should have been a priority to the God of the fucking universe, and they weren't. That somehow addresses that because there was a choice involved. What the fuck, man? Make it make sense. Oh, I hope you tie a bow on this shit.
But it seems, in his case, for the time being, that he's happy with the decision that he made.
Yeah, and we all are. Trust me. You would be too. You should leave. You should just stop being a Christian. It's way better. You don't have to play like mental gymnastics all the time. You don't have to pretend to know stuff you don't know. You can just be honest about what you do and don't know. You get to be honest with yourself. You get to live an honest life. It's way better. Okay. And then you get to actually do stuff. And then you know what? Actually give yourself credit for the stuff that you do. It's crazy. I know. Anyway, B.S. Lewis said, when my dad caught me smoking, he made me smoke a whole pack in one sitting. I recommended the same approach with porn addiction. That'll do it. Now you nailed it. That's the right way to go. I always love that old Norm Macdonald bit. I always liked Norm Macdonald. He was kind of like a big staple for me in my time growing up. It's just like nostalgic, I think. But he's really funny too. But one of his like old stand-up bits, he was like, yeah, my dad like came in and saw me. I was smoking outside the garage, right? And I seen his big head. His big head came out the side. And there's his body just following his big head as he came out of behind the garage and saw me smoking a cigarette, and he made me smoke a whole pack. Right? He said, "Oh, you're gonna finish the whole pack." That's when I started smoking cigarettes real heavy. It's just funny. I don't know. Anyway.
You know what I mean? So,
oh no, it was a cigar. He made me smoke a whole cigar. That's when I switched to smoking cigars real heavy. That's what it was. I'm sorry. I messed it up. That was all wasted because I just messed up the end.
Good for him, I guess. But ultimately, we're going to find out one way or another what the truth is. None of us are going to make it out of this earth alive.
Okay, I'm glad somebody else is following this and is irritated with this pauses as I am. Jesus Christ, this guy takes like 10 minutes to say a single sentence. It's crazy, man. I could probably do all my commentating without needing to push the button at all. I could, which I love it when I can do that because it feels more natural and fun. But damn, dude, like, wow. Don't do reaction. Go write a script or something, man. Like, it's some I do this because I'm not good at writing scripts or whatever that's but I can talk without having to take 20 minutes. Jesus Christ, that's funny. I don't know why I feel personally attacked now. Like I'm personally attacked by my own critique of somebody else. Never mind. Scott said, "What's up, dude?" So when the choice is love me or I'll torture you forever, that's abuse and extortion, not love, nor a real choice, right? Would we ever consider that a choice? That doesn't, it's like your choice. Either you get tortured for all eternity or do everything I want you to do. Dedicate your fucking life to me and become a slave to Jesus Christ. That's right. You find true freedom in slavery for Christ. God, that one kills me. But no, yeah, that's not a fucking choice. Like, what are you talking? Like, that's being terrorized into doing something. That is exactly extortion, really. Yeah, it's extortion, yeah, or blackmail, I guess, right?
We're all gonna find out. He said that.
No, you won't, though. You won't. That's the problem. Nobody ever actually finds out. Y'all never figure out. You're already in the ground, and you're like, ah, shit, I was wrong. Okay, well, guess I just wasted the only life that I actually get. Shit, whoopsie.
Dark cloud has been lifted.
Jesus.
He said that he had to take the reborn out of his handle because it was making him sick.
Oh, there's a lot of religious trauma too that I think people don't understand. Like, for instance, he was saying it was making me sick. It's so funny that this is like on the tip of my mouth because, like I said, I've been dealing with a lot of stuff lately of kind of just like realizing how much the trauma has affected me from my past and everything, right? And things can trigger you, and if it's like the word reborn triggered him, like, to me that makes perfect sense. Like I've like done, like going to do normal things with my family and stuff. And it's triggering. Like it really is. Where you're just like, this shouldn't trigger me at all, but it just does. Just being around them, hearing them talk about the blood of Jesus and making you white, but whatever. Like just constantly talking about blood is fucking weird. But and that shit just gets triggering. It just takes you back to that spot. And you're just like in your head, and you're like, oh, that's what's causing that fucking emotional dysregulation. But anyway, so I totally can understand what he's talking about there. He was like traumatized by you fucking weirdos.
He also said, no regrets, though. At least I can die in peace, knowing that there is no reason to fear hell.
100%. That one is absolutely correct. And I love this one because like I've heard people say, like, do you fear hell of other religions? And I think that's a really good way to think about it, right? If you don't fear hell of like Islam, then then why are you fearing hell of the religion you were raised in, right? It's like they're going to tell you that you're going to their hell, right? But you don't believe in their religion, so you're not afraid of their hell. So that's a good way to go with it. I always say, just think of it this way. It's like they're basically just like, believe my thing, and if you believe my thing, you'll go to a magical amusement park in the sky. But if you don't believe my thing, then you're going to be tortured for all eternity. You can't check. It only happens after you die. Believe my thing. Believe my thing. This is not manipulative at all. I always put it in those terms because you can hear exactly how manipulative it actually is,
And then the last one that I'll read, I'm just going to read it just verbatim. So I apologize for the
cradle of filth over here. Doesn't everybody bathe in blood? I mean, okay, psycho. I bathe in the blood of my enemies.
Profanity. He said, so God had to kill himself as a sacrifice to himself.
Yeah.
To save you from the hell
I'm not
that only he can send you to.
Thought I was wearing my other shirt that says atheist because God sending himself to sacrifice himself to himself, to convince himself to save the world from himself is a bit much for any logical person. But I don't. I have my bad religion. My bad religion shirt. Let's see, I got the jacket too up there. Anyway, go ahead.
This shit don't make no sense. Also, why this nigga playing hide and seek with the world? Bro, I can't believe I wasted 3 years of my life on this shit.
Hell yeah. Good for him. Loving it, Don. You know, and I love that they're like having all these people are covering it too, because that's really cool. Because this is like what helps get a lot of people snapped out of this shit when they have big YouTubers that they look up to and everything, and then they see them, because a lot of the people that like watched his content and stuff was dealing with a lot of the same shit going through their mind, but you can't ever talk about that shit going through your mind, right? You're not allowed to ask questions like that. You got to just shut up, nod your head, get in line, fucking do everything you're supposed to. Don't ever, say anything. So seeing this guy, young Don, bring these points up on Twitter and everything and talking about it in his videos, I'm really hoping that helps snap a bunch of people out of this bullshit, because it really is more harmful than helpful in almost every fucking way.
The thing that pains me is
Mary, Bloody Mary. You ask for her to scratch your face or something in the mirror. You say her name enough, something like that. I don't know. It's an old thing that used to scare me.
Obviously that he walked away, but the thing that pains me is that he did a complete 360. He was in the world, making worldly.
He didn't slowly. He snapped out of it too quick for you, huh? That was, isn't that the problem? It's funny too, because this is like the type of belief system that causes like for some really fucking serious black and white thinking, right? And just like all or nothing type shit. Like you're either completely dedicated to it or you're not at all. And then they wonder why people are just like, okay, I'm done. And you programmed me with black and white thinking. And then you wonder why I'm just like, oh, this doesn't make sense. I'm out. And then just immediately reverse course. And it's like that your religion causes that kind of thinking. You really shouldn't be surprised by this.
Content, satisfying his flesh, living for himself, doing what most of the world does, right?
Oh, hell yeah, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Music said, I love that. I'm going to make an AI song using your God sent himself rant punk genre in your honor. Oh, I appreciate that. Hell yeah. Thank you. That's fucking awesome.
Trying to obtain worldly success, having this ambition and wanting to build and grow a platform and be successful and make money. This is everything that the world tells you to do. And he was doing it, and he was doing it extremely well. He was very successful. He still is very successful on YouTube. But previous,
as are you. Like, how are you? He's like, hey, this is what the world tells you to do. Okay, then why are you doing it, man? You're just as successful, I think. Like, hold on. What? How many? 953,000. What is wrong with everybody? Are you y'all seriously? 953,000 of you motherfuckers? What the fuck is? Okay, you know what? No, I'm not even. That is irritating.
Before he gave his life to Christ.
Why?
Very successful animation channel and whatnot. And then he gives that up, follows Jesus, starts this whole new channel, seemingly instantly starts.
Oh my God, I didn't even catch that. Wait, hold on.
Successful on YouTube, make money. This is everything that the world does, right? Trying to obtain worldly success.
Damn, wait. It was like the first
satisfying his flesh, living for himself, doing what most of the world does. That pains me is that,
oh, here it is.
He did a complete 360. He was in the world.
I did not catch that. Good call, Henry. That's fuck. Wow. How did I? Thank you for that.
Making right, doing full animation channel and whatnot.
Oh,
seemingly
beautiful. He's still a Christian again. He started to not, and then he got right back to it. He did a full 360. Instantly
starts teaching.
That's funny.
And builds a flock of people. Builds a flock of.
This is why we need better education. Imagine that a dude with 900 and some odd fucking thousand subscribers, and he doesn't know to say that 360 gets you right back where you're still. Like, he doesn't. I would love to ask him what he even thinks degrees are, like how this whole thing works. My God, that is so funny. Jesus, we reward stupidity way too much on this goddamn planet.
Of Christians, and starts to lead them and teach them, doing Bible studies, live streams, going through the scriptures, doing a bunch of debates and whatnot. And whatever you want to say about Young Don, a lot of people have a lot of conflicting opinions about Young Don, about his, beliefs and his theology and things like that. Whatever you want to say, there was a lot of people who
Tony Hawk 1080. Now you're confusing everybody. How many spins is 10? I can't remember how many spins that is. I think it's a bunch. We'll just go with a bunch. All right. And if you want a bunch of sex with sex toys, yeah, sure, whatever. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter code WoodBrentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com and enter that code Brentley. That's BRENTLY at checkout. And get your offer. Get your butt some stuff. If your butt could talk, picture that right now. That's all. I just want to say that so that you can picture. It's like Jim Carrey but naked. You know what I mean? Anyway, it would want, if it could talk, it would want stuff inside of it. With lube, it's specifically asking for lube, and I get it. So the lube as well as the other stuff up on the screen here. Go to adamandeve.com, enter code WordBrentley, and get that stuff. Well, thanks so much for watching, y'all. If you want to support us, you can support us by supporting our sponsor, adamandeve.com, or you can do a bunch of other shit. Like by coughing and stuff. Go to you can become a patron, which is like a huge backlog of like all of my old projects that I've done throughout my time, the past 10 years or whatever. Podcast with my old lady is on there, and as well as other projects with other folks. So yeah, check that out. You can do a one-time thing on Cash App. I really appreciate it. Cash tag is Apostate, all one word. You can become a member if you hit that join button, and you get an extra live stream about once every 2 weeks. I'm trying to keep up with it about that at that rate, and we vote on what we want to talk about and stuff like that, and I can get to a lot more comments, and it's really fun. We have a good time. But and also, if you want to just send me an email if I get anything wrong or I'm not like focusing on something as much as you think I should, and you want to just correct me, or just just let me know what you think. Tell me about your deconversion story. I love hearing stuff like that too. Just email me at punkapostate@gmail.com. Also, you can join the Discord, right? We got a Discord. We hang out in there every so often, right? And you can follow me on all the socials, and the links will all be below. But hey, the main thing though is to stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate. And we will see you next time.